But anyway, there you can see a side-by-side difference of the early version of this transmission, which is in the E28, and this one came out of, I believe, a 1990 325. Hi ho, Keegan the Vlog here. Welcome back to BMW Wrench Time. Still here. We're in the middle of the unexpected manual transmission swap into this E30. A little bit of questions came up last week when we were trying to put the pedal assembly together. We got the pedals off of an older model car. This is the latest model E30 that they made. It's a 91, so it has an airbag, and the pedal assembly is a little bit different. There was a question about the return spring mechanism on the clutch pedal. What we found out was the later cars don't use that, so there is no provision for that on the bracket itself, so we got to take that off. And apparently there's a second one of the springs that work on the brake pedal goes on the clutch pedal, so we ordered one of those, and we'll figure out how to put that on there. But I suspect it sounds like people just don't even bother to use it, and the clutch hydraulics take care of the return, and everything seems to work fine. So anyway, we're going to get back into this. Going to get the inside of the car buttoned up today, start doing some of the other while you're in there things. We got a new rear main seal because we have access to it. We'll put that in, we'll get that ready to go. We might get the flywheel and the pressure plate, the clutch on today as well. And then we still have to figure out the drive shaft. And at the end of this whole thing, I might do a video just on how to understand what in the hell you need to buy to do this job based on what car you have, because it has been royally confusing. But I've made some discoveries that are worth sharing, and I will share that with everybody that happens to be watching this video. So let's get back into it. All right, you can see this thing right. This spring contraption right here needs to come out. Come on out of there. Gotcha. Dirtbag. All right. Most of the pedal assemblies, there's a rest for this thing actually on the pedal bracket to sit on, and that's a bit of an adjustment that you can do with this thing, and it acts as a return as well. So the newer cars, the newest E30s, just don't have the bracket provision for that. So the forums say take it off. Done. Okay, next up, we are going to take a look at the transmission here and get this thing ready to go. This was a recent build. I have new seals for the transmission. However, I'm going to talk to Jerome again. I think this transmission was actually just sealed up. It looks really good, but it came out of an E28, and the shifter setup is different. So we have to remove the shifter setup and check to see if the actual shifter input connection. I read a couple different things. I read it was the same as the E28, the 528Es, the 325i and the 528Es were the same, and I also read that they were different. I bought one of these little connection points to kind of put here and see. This one looks a little bit offset as opposed to this one. Yeah, they look different. So I think I'm gonna just go ahead and swap these out with the one that is specifically for the 325, the E30, and I think that's gonna work out a little bit better. So let's get this thing off. this. Okay, these mounts on the side here, I do not believe the E30 uses those. So these guys right here, this one's broken. You can see here's part of it. I'm gonna take those off because I do not believe the E30 uses them, and they're kind of in the way. Okay, people, we have reached a classic impasse. This transmission is not going to work. Let me show you why. So there on the E30 models, there is casting up here to accept this here to sit, and the shift linkage goes in and connects into here. There is no provision for that on this. Now I'm going to do a little bit more research here and see if it's something that bolts, that attaches here and sits on top. But I'm thinking that these transmission cases are different. It might be that this back piece is swappable if you have one, but obviously we don't have one of those, and that's probably going to be harder to come by than a whole transmission. So, roadblock. Okay, it appears that what I have is an early 260 transmission, which does not have the mounting provisions for the aluminum shifter mount that the E30 uses. However, the M3 version of this car had this transmission and had an adapter that bolted into here and allowed you to attach the shifter for the E30. So I need to search for that. There's also a difference in bell housing size. I'm going to have to do some measuring to see if I have which version of the bell housing I have, and I may need a bigger throw-out bearing, a deeper throw-out bearing, in order to use this transmission. So more to come, but you know, when you're doing a swap like this, it's not stock stuff, so you gotta adapt. It's been a minute because we have been waiting for this box of parts to show up. And key in here is this guy. This is the paper gasket for the oil seal, the rear main oil seal. This is what this is, and I've been stuck waiting for that for almost a month. Thank you, ECS Tuning. Anyway, now that we got that, we are going to get the rest. We're going to get the car put back together to the point where we can insert transmission. I still am not convinced that I have a solution for the shift arm on the transmission, and I will show you that just now. So I saw a picture of it mounted like this. However, I don't think these rotate at all. On the E30, the ears are back here on the case. So I don't think the geometry works this way. I'm going to play with it a little bit because I don't think this is right. There we go. Yeah. Like, the only way I know that I can figure out how to do it is with what I have is to just install it in the car and see if it fits.
So, but if it goes on like this, like you're thinking, the geometry with the shifter point attachment works, and you don't have that interference thing that we were looking at the other week, right?
That's right.
Maybe the original rear main seal in this car.
I can't imagine with 248,000 miles on it, you would think that it's had a main seal done before. I don't know. See that right there? Right there. This thing is cracked. Get another one for 25 bucks, so I'm gonna do that. We are stalled again! Because the splines are different. Okay, this is becoming a little too difficult to pull off with the E28 as a donor car. It's time to either find an E30 donor car or find an actual E30 transmission, because this just is not going to work. Actually, I should not say that. I am just not willing to make it work anymore. That's how we're going to say that. We are on our way up to Windsor, Pennsylvania to pick up the correct transmission. I just got to the point where I was sick of trying to make it work and doing all the little modifications you have to do for this really old version of this transmission to work in the latest version of the car that used this transmission. So we're just gonna nip this problem in the bud and head up to Windsor, Pennsylvania, where a gentleman is selling a freshly rebuilt Getrag 260 out of plus 1988 325. So it is the actual transmission that we need with all the castings on it to hold the shifter and the right Guibo flange and all of that jazz. Okay, party people, we have what appears to be the correct transmission. Yay! And the drive shaft and flywheel that he has are actually all from the same car. So we're good. On my way in, I passed a place called M&M Inc. Snowplows, truck accessories, and a bunch of weird used cars. Had to stop. Wow. Couple of cabrios. Needs work. I bet it does. I bet it does. Sun Chaser. I don't even know this. Wow. Wow. How cool. Crazy. Is that a Saab Sonnet? That is a Saab Sonnet. Wow. And a TR4. Saab Sonnet. Restoration candidate, maybe? Wow. 3000 Mark III. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. What a cool place. We are gonna have to note this one. Okay, back. Wait, I didn't even see the bus. That could be valuable someday. Yeesh. My truck fits right in, doesn't it? This little guy. Another Sprite. They like their Sprites here. All right, let's get home. Okay, great friends of the podcast. So here is the very oldest version of the Getrag 260 transmission and one of the newer versions that go in the E30. So E28, E30. So this little contraption here is supposed to be how you mount the shifter. This Russell here goes in there like that, or it goes in there like that. Now, these ears are farther forward than this guy, so this geometry can't work. I don't see how this works. So we're gonna give this one back to Jerome and focus our attention on an actual E30 version of the Getrag 260 slant 5 for 5-speed. But anyway, there you can see a side-by-side difference of the early version of this transmission, which is in the E28, and this one came out of, I believe, a 1990 325. So this is the part right.
Isn't there a difference on the splines on one of these sides?
That's the back. That's the that's on the output shaft. And actually, so that was the whole thing.
That's what triggered you to go down this?
Yeah, so yeah, that's this. And it turns out that it's not a difference in the it's the automatic transmission, even though okay. So what's going on is a real OEM is incorrect that this part is the same on the automatic and manual. It's not. It can't be, because the splines on the output shaft on the automatic transmission are different than the splines on the output shaft of the manual transmission. So this piece is not interchangeable between manual and automatic transmission, even though the the real OEM website would lead you to believe that that is true. It is not. Or it could be that it's the same fucking part number and they're different parts, because that's what's going on here with these transmissions. So also note the this piece here that goes on for the E30. Anyway, put this little guy in here. It's all good. So it just, man, it just barely has to pivot a little bit to get over there. Wow, that's
Is that like a short shifter type scenario?
Go to first. Okay, yeah, that's first. Second. Third. Fourth. Fifth. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode. We got the Tripe transmission for this car. It's going to go back in after we get the flywheel resurfaced. And hopefully we'll be driving this thing out next weekend. Thanks for watching. See you next time.